If you are a 6 to 7 figure Shopify store and all your ads have the same ROAS around break even, it's because all your ads look the same. So in this series, I'm going to show you several different ad formats, and I'm going to give you examples for each different type. This will allow you to test radically new ads, and that's the best way to find significantly higher ROAS. So today we're going to dive deeper into one of the best working ad types ever, and that is the us versus them format. So it's mainly known for the static version, and we're going to look into that. And then we're going to see, once we found a static version with winning angles, winning benefits, how can we extend its lifetime and potentially capitalize more on our new learnings. Today we're going to look at the us versus them. Let's have a look at some examples. Let's first start with statics. That's the best way to start this creative type. And here's a pretty cool static we have. As you can see, we start by having a title which gives the viewer some context. And right here, we know that we're in the Christmas gifting context. It's also a way to do some targeting. By doing this, you allow Facebook to know who they should show your ad to. And then what we have here is the products and benefits. So I always recommend going for maximum 3 bullet points, which is what they did here. And then my little hack, so most people will tell you to only use benefits. I don't agree on that. And by the way, you can see here that they used features instead of benefits. But what I recommend is to use benefits for your brand and then features for the comparison. So for example, here, instead of saying 100% natural soy versus toxic paraffin wax, I would say the benefit for our brand, so that would be natural and healthy. And then for the others, I would use toxic paraffin wax, because features are used to justify benefits, right? So features can, in this case, also be used to justify the negative aspects of competitor. So instead of putting 2 times stronger scents, I would say scents your entire room or your entire house. For the other ones, I would say 50% less strong, or burns 30% faster, or spreads less far. Here I would say scent 50% less strong. Instead of saying reusable mason jar, I would say eco-friendly, reusable cradle to cradle. And then here I would use single-use glass. So this was the first example. Let's now look at a second example for static us versus them. And this one is pretty interesting. So you have to be careful when using this word, of course. Don't do this on new accounts. Make sure that you've had your account for a long time before you go that explicit. And this is interesting because it's a very visual way to represent your us versus them. So I like this one in particular because it shows you that you can go more creative and you don't have to necessarily go for the 3 bullet points like everybody else. Now let's dive into a third example, and this is more the regular type. And as I mentioned earlier, right, we only want maximum three benefits pointed out, and here they did it with even less. That's what I wanted to show you. You don't always have to go maximum. Sometimes focusing on just one benefit allows you to be much more precise and have a much clearer message, which is making it easier for people to take action. So here you show that your drink allows for 6 hours energy versus a normal coffee. And here you can see what I mentioned before. Features are always used to justify benefits. So in this case, the benefit is mental focus and energy, and its feature is 6 hours energy. Now, these were 3 great examples of statics for us versus them, and that's where most brands stop. And now I want to show you that you can go much more creative by going into videos. So what I recommend is really to go step 1 using statics, because that will allow you to blast content very fast. As soon as you created some templates, you can just change the benefits until you find a winning combination. And then once you found a winning combination and angle, you can turn them into videos. And you might wonder, what do those videos look like? And here are some examples to dive much deeper into that. They really show the us versus them, and they really explain the benefits here. The different bullet points are now explained in text and image. Then a second example. So this was very simple, right? It's just exactly what you imagined with the us versus them static, and then turn that into a visual video. Now here's also us versus them, but which is not necessarily comparing both side by side. So this is for a razor brand, and they're going into the store saying how expensive the regular store competitors are, and explaining that you could even get it home delivered and pay cheaper rather than going to the store and pay more expensive. And then if we keep playing the ad, you can see that the first 15 seconds, so the hook was the us versus them. And then afterwards they make UGC mashup. So it's all people showing social proof and saying how great the experience is. But for what we're looking at today, we're just looking at the first 15 seconds, the us versus them part. So that's another great example of how you can use this concept in a video format. And then the third version is probably what most of you had in mind, so I'm still showing it when we're talking about us versus them videos. As you can see, it's just their us versus them static with a little animation, which is an easy way to extend the lifespan of your winning static us versus them. However, I don't expect this ad to have significantly different results as the static. It's just catching a little bit more attention. If you have limited video skills, you could go for that, but it's not a priority and it's not going to have the biggest impact. So there you go. In today's video, we looked at the us versus them format. I showed you 3 static examples, 3 video examples, explained what are the important points for a good us versus them. And as you can see, this is only one of the many ad formats you can use for Facebook ads. So if you're interested in me covering those other points, just subscribe for more and I'll see you soon. Bye.